the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Wednesday. We're glad that you've joined us wherever it is and whenever it is that you join us. And thank you for making Auburn Blitz part of your Auburn sports intake each and every day. Faith, good to see you this morning. Running a little bit behind this morning. We have our little pre-blitz talk sometimes as we get ready for the show, and we carried it over a little bit long this morning, but we're here now. That's all that matters.
We are. Good morning. Good to see you.
Always good to see you too, and a lot to talk about here on the show this morning. And as we always get started with some of our partners making this possible each and every day for all of you to take this in, Sensagreen.
Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier dealers for the state of Alabama and proud supporter of Auburn Athletics and the Auburn Blitz podcast. Brett and I talk about it all the time about how we would have never noticed how many carrier units there are.
I did it yesterday again. I did it again yesterday. I saw one sitting off to the side. It's like that logo pops now, and I'm like, I'm out searching for carrier units.
Right, and by getting it installed with Sensagreen, they're going to save you thousands of dollars. And again, it's not just about the actual carrier unit itself, but it's also about the people that you're working with and, just the people, if you trust them and all that kind of stuff. So we love our guys over at Sensagreen. Everybody knows how awesome they are and Uncle T-Bone. So making sure you call on Sensagreen, they're going to save you thousands of dollars.
No doubt about it. Scout Program Management in Birmingham, a full construction management firm. I can't say enough good things about them. I know we mix it up every day, but they do. I mean, the comfort of knowing that they're going to take you from the start of the process to the end with no hiccups, or making sure you don't have to worry about that. And you're going to get the product that you're paying for. When you're spending millions of dollars on a big construction project, you want to make sure it's done right. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm handling all of that for you in Birmingham, Alabama. Check them out. Go out there and find them. You'll be glad that you did. And Bunkers.
Bunkers is one of the best places to go and sit down and eat some good food or have some good drinks, but also go in there, use the golf simulator bays. You don't just have to play golf. You can do one of the 27 different sports in there. So, it's going to be really nasty out this next week, which stinks, but, you don't have to sit and wait to go hit on the green. You can go to Bunkers and you can go and play on the golf simulator bays and have a little tournament like that.
You don't have an excuse anymore to let your golf game go away when the weather's bad. You can go inside.
You don't have to wait for the cart girl to come around. You can just walk up to the bar and get yourself a drink there too.
The cart girl's right behind you all the time. So right there at the bar. So, thanks to all of them. We'll get to some more of our partners here in just a little bit. To start things off here this morning, unfortunately, Auburn softball, their road came to an end in the SEC tournament. Their season's not over, but we're hoping that they could get that win over Alabama last night. Fell 3-2, a close game. Again, Alabama's got a really good pitcher. She was able to kind of maintain, but SJ was really good as well for Auburn. But this is one play here or there. Both teams made plays. But at the end of the day, Auburn wasn't able to really get the key hit. Had left a lot of runners on base. And again, Brisky for Alabama was able to, really wreak havoc, especially to our left-handed batters. Only one hit from that side of the plate. But Auburn finishes with a 32-22 record. So they'll wait to see where they, are selected for regionals. So they came back home to Auburn, and they'll wait for that. But, I think at the end of the day, you saw this team really, really get better as the season went along in the SEC play. Now, pre-SEC play, they had some big wins. Started off 20-1. But they went into this meat grinder of a conference, just like every other sport. And new coaching staff, a lot of new players, a lot of growing pains. Had to figure it out the hard way, kind of thrown into the fire. But I thought they really rebounded and did well. So we'll see what they are able to do in postseason. But they will get a regional berth somewhere. Just don't know where that is yet.
Yeah, we'll be able to announce that on Monday because Sunday at 6 is when the selection comes out. So Monday, watch out for that. We'll let everybody know kind of when their next game and everything's going to be, because again, season's not over.
Definitely not over. No, not over. So tough loss there, but they'll rebound. But I'm excited for the future for them. So all right, key targets for 2026. Going to shift over to talk some football. And you and I have talked a lot about some of these guys. And when you look at the change up of how visits are made, the first big weekend coming up for Auburn is May 16th through the 18th. Things are different. Used to not have official visits going on this time of year. Jason, we all talked about that a couple of weeks ago. But now you got a lot of these official visits coming in summer. They want to go ahead and make an announcement. Some of them are going to make an announcement. I know Cedarian Morgan, you talked to him, plan on making an announcement the week of July the 4th, July the 2nd. Really hadn't told many people that other than us. So kind of, I guess, we were the first ones that he told on that interview, because I still have people coming up asking, have you heard, what Cedarian's going to do? So July the 2nd. So obviously a big target there. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I saw where 24/7 wrote an article about Cedarian. I was at practice again yesterday, talked with Cedarian at length on some stuff. But yeah, I mean, just like a lot of us feel like that's gonna be an in-state battle. He's gotten offers from everywhere. There's some teams that he's really high on outside of the state of Alabama. I think he likes Texas A&M. I think he likes Colorado. I think some of those. But I think at the end of the day, Florida is definitely a player. He's made multiple visits to Florida, so he really likes Florida down there. But I think at the end of the day, and I could be off, but I don't think I am. I think it's going to be a battle between Auburn and Alabama, and we'll see who's able to garner that commitment on July the 2nd.
Yeah, you've been at Ben Russell practice, where Cedarian goes to high school. So what have you seen from him that you've just been impressed about, and you think that he could add to this wide receiver room?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a dominant presence physically. He looks like Terrell Owens. And I make that comparison. Now, Terrell Owens didn't look like him in high school. He played at Ben Russell, obviously, so that's kind of why I'm making that comparison. But he looks like Terrell Owens in almost like a pro Terrell Owens version in high school. So you have to keep telling yourself this kid's he's about to be a senior in high school, and he looks like this. And his wingspan, his hands, his ability to run for his size really stands out. When you have anybody up there observing practice, that seems to be the commonality between everybody's conversation. It's almost not fair to be that big and be able to run the way he's able to run. So that separates him. That's why he's the number 1 or number 2 receiver in the country.
Yeah, when I asked him about, whether or not he wanted to play basketball or football when deciding, what he's going to go to school for, he told me, he said, I want to go for football because I'm big for my position. I'm big. And
right.
In basketball, I'm just average. I'm not the biggest guy out there. So
guys his size are probably playing guard in college. Let's be honest. That's how different it's changed. Yep.
Right. And he was like, that's why, that's a big reason of why I chose football, because I'm a 6'4" wide receiver. And
Right.
right, he is 6'4".
It's almost pushing 6'5". Yep.
Yeah. So big guy. And again, just like you said, the wingspan there that comes with that. And also just the way he's able to move that fast, being that big.
There's an example of what I'm talking about. I posted it on my Facebook page and sent it to you. Just getting some clips of practice and some drills. And, he's running an out pattern toward the sideline, and he goes up, and most anybody in high school not going to make the catch he makes in that clip. So go back and find that from a couple of days ago. You'll see what I'm talking about. But he makes that play look routine. That's why he is, that one of the top receivers, if not the top receiver in the country. Is he makes plays like that look like, oh, okay, that's just another everyday catch for him, where most guys can't even get to that point to make that catch. So, and look, let's just be honest, and we're going to keep talking about him because he warrants that. And he's so close to Auburn, and the pipeline from Benjamin Russell to Auburn has been massive. And Coach Nix and Coach Davis both were there at practice a couple of days ago, spending time with him and recruiting not only him, but some other guys that are in some lower classification guys that are on that team that we'll talk about later on. But he's a priority. Malcolm Simmons is on this football team. We know how big of an impact he had last year, and the expectations that he has for this year's team. Well, he and Sedarian are really close. Now, again, that doesn't always win out. I mean, everybody makes decisions based on what's best for them, but Sedarian likes Auburn. I mean, he really, really does. And, another school that I didn't mention that's high on his list that's out of state's Clemson. I kidded him about the Clemson gloves yesterday. Again, I'm like, look, man, do we need to make a phone call? We just like to yuck it up a little bit and have fun. He knows I'm going to come at him, and tries to hide his hands when he's not wearing the Auburn gloves when I come around. But I see what he's got on. But anyway, he's not only a great athlete, but he's the kind of person, and you've been around him some now, Faith, that you want him on your team. You want him from a chemistry. He's not selfish. He's a cheerleader for everybody else. He's very similar to Malcolm. Malcolm's always smiling and laughing. He brings a lot of great positive energy to whoever he's around. And so Auburn knows and understands what a priority he is.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt there. I think too, just the way that Auburn has been able to transform and just put together this wide receiver room that's young right now that we have. I think that's going to be a huge thing that Sedarian is going to have to take into consideration, because, I mean, if you're coming in behind a lot of these guys and you're as good as you are coming out of high school, is he going to get the playing time that he is going to deserve or whatever? I think that's going to be something he's really going to have to think about. But again, being able to just throw Cam Coleman and Malcolm Simmons out their freshman year.
Yeah, I mean, and he's so dynamic, he's going to be on the field. Like that.
There's no doubt.
That's not even up for debate. I mean, this guy is going to be on the field wherever he is. And look, everybody is not created equal. And some guys that come in and say, okay, yeah, I think I can play early. And you get there and you go, well, maybe not, because, the speed of the game, whatever, is a little bit. That's not the case for him. I mean, and that was not the case for Cam Coleman. It wasn't the case for Ryan Williams at Alabama. I mean, there's just some guys that are ready to go right now.
Yeah.
And like we talked about this yesterday at practice. So just watching him, he's physically ready to be playing in the SEC this year. Like you could put him out on the field at most of these SEC schools and be out there. And if he learned the offense, he'd be right there. Marcel said there's no one like him, no matter what receiver room, he will be the best. And Marcel knows, because Marcel coaches. He's one of his receivers at Benjamin Russell. So, and I know that's not really looking through biased glasses. That's just making a very honest assessment of who he really is. So, yeah, we're going to talk a lot more about him, and I know you're going to push some more reels out from your interview with him from a couple of months ago. We were kind of early to the dance on that, but we wanted to get to him first because he is the #1 player in the state. Of course, you've got Tank Jones, who's another big target for this class. That interview will be coming out on Friday. So everybody be watching for that. That's going to be really, really good. Let's talk about some other guys, and some of them not in state. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday, I believe, or maybe even at the end of, I can't remember. We talk about so much, but the target for this class, quarterback wise, seems to be Travis Burgess from Grayson, and Coach Nix, Coach Austin were visiting him this past weekend. He tweeted that out, picture of them. We saw Coach Nix on the hill at Benjamin Russell's practice on Monday. So I asked him, I said, how'd it go? And he said, it went great. I think there's a lot of interest there from him with North Carolina. And he's got a couple of visits scheduled, one being Auburn, one being North Carolina. And of course, we know what's going on at North Carolina with the circus there. Bill Belichick, I don't know if Bill Belichick's recruiting him or if his girlfriend's recruiting him, but anyway, regardless of that, I think he's built a really good relationship with Auburn's coaching staff, and we'll see how that plays out. But again, this is a kid I think that's playing in big time high school football that maybe is not ranked as highly as you're like, okay, he's 3-star by a lot of recruiting services, but I think he's going to be reevaluated, and he will be a guy that probably will gain that 4-star because he's a big kid. He's got a lot of great. His skill level is top notch. Had a good year last year, so you'll see that I think go up a star rank in the future.
What do you think about, when you're being recruited by Auburn and you've seen the quarterback situation the past 4 or 5 years? What are you thinking?
In terms of what, like?
Am I going to get developed by this staff? Am I going to?
I definitely think it's a question. I think it's something that it's a valid question for a lot of these guys, and and it hadn't just been the last few years. It's been going on for a long time around here,
Especially though these past few years.
Yeah,
because what do you
I can go
think
all the way back to Sean White and and Kyle Frazier, and I can just keep going down a list of highly ranked quarterbacks that have come in here and tailed off. Let's be honest. Jarrett Stidham, his first year at Auburn was pretty doggone good in 17. He comes back in 18. He goes downhill. The only guy I can think of that's actually developed and maybe the stats got better was, you'd have to go all the way back to almost Brandon Cox, and that's, do you remember him? Do you remember Brandon Cox, Faith, in the mid 2000s? Again, I don't know that. I'm not trying to be funny about it, but it's really, if you go back through the list of quarterbacks for Auburn, you haven't seen a lot of development over multiple coaching staff. So, I think that's always a key part of a guy's decision is going, if I go there, am I going to get better over the years?
I think that's just something that I've definitely thought about when we've been recruiting these guys. And I was even thinking about it last year. I said this, I think yesterday, about Deuce, when I literally would turn around after something would happen and I'd just be like, please
right,
just still come here, give it a chance or whatever. And I think this year is going to have to be, I know we keep saying it, but the show me year of if we don't start winning some games and this offense is not directed by the quarterback, I think is just going to be a really hard time getting back to recruiting quarterbacks that.
Well, I think a lot of things hinge on this year, to be honest about it. Not just quarterback recruiting. I just think everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about these early rankings. I've got that down at the bottom of the screen. We'll shift over into that in just a little bit. Are they warranted? Here we go again. It's, how does Auburn continue to garner, these post-spring, preseason, favorable rankings from these national writers? What is it that's leading them to give Auburn, some? We'll dive into that in just a little bit, but I definitely think Travis Burgess, and then of course in-state prospect Landon Duckworth at Jackson. You and I are going to go visit with him. We're going to go visit with the next kid on this list that I want to talk about for just a little bit, but closing out with Travis Burgess again. I want people to understand. I think you look at him and you look at this quarterback room, and it's not a shot at him at all. He's a 3-star guy. I think he's underrated. I think that he's got a lot of potential with his size. He's 6'5". He weighs about 205 pounds, somewhere in that range. And he's playing against big-time opponents. So he's going to be – and you and I talk about this, and again, it's not a slight at kids that play in lower classification football in any state, but there's an advantage to playing in these higher levels. We just saw the kid from Pike Road transfer to Auburn High School. And Pike Road's got a good program, and they're a 6A program, but then he goes over and he's going to be in 7A, and there is a vast difference between 7A and 6A in this state. It just is. So he slides over because, even the quote he had that I read, he said, look, every game I play in is going to be a big-time game over here at Auburn. And it's not a cut at Pike Road, but that's just what's going on in this world of high school and college. Kids and parents are making decisions on what they feel like is best for them at that time. And you like it or you cannot like it. And so if you don't think that facilities and coaches make a difference and all that, your head's in the sand. You're not in the real world.
The way that just high school athletics have evolved over time is crazy. And again, coming from Georgia, where my high school was really, really bad at football, and a lot of the surrounding high schools also were really bad. But it wasn't like this over there. So for me to come over here and now just in this past year be thrown into this, not even year, 6 months, thrown into this realm of high school athletics, it is insane. It is almost like what college football used to be, of some kids have to sit out if their parents don't actually move and all that kind of stuff. And I am just shocked at the way the high school athletics here are so different, I guess.
Well,
and better.
I think Georgia's got great high school football too, but I think when you look at it from top to bottom, the size of the state of Alabama and the number of top tier recruits that come out of this state every year. We're not the size of Georgia. We're not the size of Texas. We're not the size of Florida. But we put out upper tier talent every single year. And this class is no different. And, you got a bunch of guys, and that's how important high school football is to the state of Alabama. And I think we understand that. And we, with our contract we've had with AHSAA for so many years now and doing the network, we see these kids and we're up close with them a lot more than maybe some of the national writers, because it's not that we don't care about kids out of state. It's that we focus on the kids in state. That's why we're doing the feature we're doing on the top 10 prospects here in the state of Alabama, and you're going to sit down with all 10 of them before the summer's over. and talk to them. And we've already had Sedarian. You're about to release Tank this coming up Friday. So the one I think we're going to talk about next is the next one on our radar. That's Jaquez Wilkes at Wadley. And I know people that are watching this right now go, well, y'all talked about him the last few times. Well, because, I mean, he is a stud. He's a top 4 player in the state. I don't think it's just a given that, he's just up the road from Auburn, that he's going to go to Auburn. I mean, you and I are here in a particular school out on the recruiting trail right now that keeps popping up amongst all these guys. Texas A&M. All right, he's another one that I think Texas A&M has zeroed in on. I think Texas A&M is putting an assault on the state. People need to understand, with this NIL and all the money they have out there, if they want somebody, and if that's really what it boils down to for some of these kids at the end of the day is the highest offer. Like, I'm not saying that, Auburn and Alabama can't offer. I'm talking about relationships too, building in. But if it's just solely about the dollar, then Texas A&M, if they want somebody, they can come get them. Period.
Absolutely. They were exposed for doing NIL stuff before anybody else kind of was.
Right.
So we know that they've got money, and we know that they're going to do anything they can to recruit and get some of the best guys. So yeah, I think Texas A&M needs to really leave our state alone. That's what I have to say.
Well, they're not going to. You can forget it. Because Auburn and Alabama go poach out of Texas, and vice versa. I mean, it is what it is. But they're going to come over here. They're not just going to fill their class with guys from Texas. They're going to come try to get the best guys out of the state of Alabama and Florida and Georgia, wherever. Hardy Farm said, just wait. The high school NIL deals are just starting now. Big schools like Auburn, Hoover, Thompson will be even more loaded than ever. I mean, it's designed that way. I mean, look, here's what I'm saying. If you don't have an elite coach and you don't have facilities and things in place, you can like this or not. Again, I'm not saying that I'm 1,000% for all this stuff, but it's the landscape of high school and college football now. And kids are going to go, and people want to always point a finger and say it's all about, oh, this high school's recruiting this kid. Not really. Not really. I mean, go talk to some of the parents of these kids. They're seeking out these places. They're moving to go live in these areas where they feel like their kid is going to have the best opportunity. Look,
the best exposure and the best. It's hard. I mean, think about it. We talked about this with, a lot of different sports, but if you're playing at a 1A school and then you go to the SEC, you could have been the best player.
You are the best player. You are the best player in 1A. Yeah.
And then you go to the SEC and you are just at the bottom of the food chain.
Look, I love all high school football, 1A through 7A. And look, small communities are where, these communities, they hang their hat on their high schools, and there's a lot of pride. But I'm not talking about your everyday high school player. I'm talking about these elite, top-ranked players that are looking into the future, that's their way, that's their ride. And let's just be honest, and you name whatever high school you want to name, small. If you're the guy, then of course, and if I'm coaching at that high school, I'm going to give him the football 40 times, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to put him on the defensive side, and I'm going to let him make plays because he's just so much better than everybody else. But at the end of the day, he's probably not even playing the position that he's going to play. And I'm just using this as a blanket example. I'm not talking about any one particular kid. I'm talking about a blanket example. That kid's going to be probably not playing the position that he will be playing at the next level. So he's not getting any reps or anything or learning any technique about that. So when he does get to X college, he's going to be behind some of these guys that were playing up. And I mean, it's just the reality of it. Again, I don't feel like I got to keep giving a disclaimer here. I'm not singling any high school or any classification out. I'm just speaking real. I mean, if I'm off, somebody tell me, but I know that's how it is. And I know that's what's going through some of these kids' minds. And it's not even some of these top prospects, Faith, transferring from a smaller school division to higher school. You got them transferring within divisions, like one 7A school to another 7A school based on who's there and what they feel like their best chance is of getting developed. You mentioned that just a minute ago. It's the same thing in high school. Am I going to get developed? Am I going to get put in a position to be the best version of me?
Absolutely. I mean, with Tank Jones, when I was talking to him about it, and he was telling me, the things that are really important to him for college, where he decides to go is, the relationships, and also the way that he will be developed to move on to the next level. And I asked him, I said, well, what has St. Paul's done for you in those categories? And he was like, this place has built relationships and shown me how important they are. And, I know it's St. Paul's, it's far away from Auburn and everything, and it's a private school, but, that's still just, it's one of those things where the coaching, and we talked to the coaches down there too, and those guys were awesome. They were super, super nice. But those are the kind of things that you have to take into consideration when it comes to the high school also, because those are the guys that you're going to be developing and teaching them, Tank said, what it's like to be a man. That's those things are going to be something you think about when choosing a college. And if those coaches are going to kind of mimic some of the same things that your high school coaches did.
Exactly. Again, I just think it gets overblown. And we're going to get to a couple other guys. We didn't even really talk about Jacquez Wilkes yet. We'll get back to that. But I think this thing gets overblown with some of these schools. And I understand if you got a top ranked player and he leaves and he goes somewhere else, you're going to be upset because you're thinking, oh, the loyalty and nobody's loyal anymore and all that. But look, you gotta put yourself, and there isn't some big bunch of money getting thrown around right now. Okay. Now I'm not saying in the future that couldn't happen, but there's not, maybe from out of state. We did talk about that. There, some of these places out of state trying to pull Alabama guys out of state. We've already heard that. We know that. I'm just saying within the state, you don't have a bunch of money changing hands and all this stuff going on right now, like a lot of people want to believe is going on. But the loyalty part of that people lose in this whole thing is that it's really not the school going out seeking that kid. It's the parents and the kid going and seeking somewhere else. And it just is what it is. I mean, so going back to Jacquez, big time prospect. And when you look at him, I believe he comes in as the number 6 player in 24/7. I don't have it in front of me right now, but he's 6'4", 220. He's going to be an edge rusher in college.
He is
now,
6 in Alabama. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So he is 6. I thought I had it memorized. See so many lists, Faith. You know that. But 6'4", 220 is going to be an edge rusher. He's going to put more weight on. I saw him. You and I saw him at the Super 7. He's going to get bigger when he gets in an SEC weight room. But again, he's the man. I mean, I watched him run the football in that championship game a bazillion times. Everybody knew he was going to run the ball a bazillion times. And, hey, they couldn't stop him. And then he made every tackle on the defensive side. But that's what a dominant player is going to do, and he helped them win a state title. So he's a hometown kid and obviously loves Wadley. And if they've got a great chance of winning another one. And it's because of him. And they got some other good players on the team for certain. But when he gets off the bus in 1A football, you're like, whoa, So big time guy there that is scheduled to be visiting that weekend, May the 30th, the end of the month. So watch that. But could Auburn garner a commitment from him that weekend? We've kind of heard it might happen. Last kid I want to talk about, and again we'll break these down more prospects over the next several weeks. But Wilson Zaire, a lot of people, if they're thinking, well, that name's familiar, his brother Killian Zaire, former Auburn offensive lineman. Again, so a legacy connection here. There's a legacy connection. He's from Germany, hence the name Zaire, just like his brother, but plays in Georgia, but has offers from tons of places. I know Michigan, Alabama, Auburn, obviously, Georgia, Wisconsin. I mean, all the names that you want to look down and say, do we want this guy? Yeah, you want this guy. Big time, 6'6", 280-pound tackle. Again, another priority for Auburn, again, with the connection with his brother. He also will be visiting that last weekend of May, going into the first part of June. So we'll see how that's another one that we'll watch. So, but just wanted to kind of talk about those three. Actually, we talked about four, didn't we? Because we talked about Sedarian. Again, I think it's just what we talk about every time. But that's four really there that obviously you and I will be keeping our eyes on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk to him. I want to hear what he sounds like.
Wilson?
Yeah.
You get an opportunity to do that. So Texas A&M recruits Alabama. Damian Craig is not at Texas A&M Rebel Yell. I think he's at Georgia Southern now. Check that.
But Jim made a good point. High school kids need leadership. I hope their parents choose a head coach with good leadership skills that will carry their son the rest of their lives if the parents choose. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at is, by choosing the right head coach and while they're still developing and stuff like that. And then that's going to help them decide where they go off to college, because if your values are that important and getting instilled while they're, what are you, like 14, 15 through 18 in high school, and then
Right.
18 through 26, I don't know, 22,
27, 29, 30
now. In college. I mean, and seriously though, like you want to have your young man be a very good, well-rounded person, off the field too, but that's why it's important to choose. There's a select amount of coaches that are really good people that are really good coaches too.
Absolutely. As much as people want to say other things, look, I have a son that's at Auburn. I have a daughter that's a sophomore in high school. Parents want to put their kids in the best possible situation, depending on what they like to do, what their interests are. They're going to seek out that. We're in a transient society now. As much as I've loved to stick my heels in the ground and anchor into my community and love my community, my love for my community hasn't changed. I know a lot of people's hasn't. But when it comes to this, it's not just about, oh, well, this is how it is now. This is how it's always been. That's how it's going to always be. It's not. People have the opportunity and to move around and do things. And Randy and I have talked about this a bazillion times on all our different programming. Kids are going to go where they have the best opportunities. And it boils down to what you and Jim just said: leadership, facilities, all that kind of stuff plays in to a kid. If they've got a chance to go on to the next level in whatever it is that they're going into, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, tennis, golf, whatever, they're gonna try to, and if their kid's really good, they're gonna try to put them in the best position that they can, if they're able to do that, if they're able to, if it's where they can get up and they can move and they can go find a job somewhere else. All right, let's get to some of our partners here on the program. Again, couldn't do the show without them. And definitely couldn't do the show without SureShot.
Yeah, Scott at SureShot is awesome. He's the best. So if you have any firearm apparel or hunting needs, calling Scott at Sure Shot, he's going to be able to help you out literally with whatever you need. They sell and trade new and used firearms. Also, ladies, they do the handgun training, know when to use it, how to use it, and just keep yourself safe. So, this is something that, a lot of people, I'm wearing a hunting shirt right now. So
I was gonna say, did you go turkey hunting this morning?
no, I wish. I
No,
wish.
no, you don't, because it sucked this year for me at least. So,
Yeah, guys, Brett did not come back with a turkey. I know I said that I would update you guys.
didn't
But it's
happen.
not because of anything from Sure Shot. So
No.
they're right up 280. Call on Sure Shot 256-329-0080.
They did all they could. They gave
Yeah.
me the gun, the ammo, everything. The turkey didn't cooperate.
And over at Oliver Ross, those are good people over there. If you are having a party from 20 people all the way up to 20,000 people, whether it's a work convention, sorority or fraternity, date party or rush event or anything of the sort, Oliver Ross is going to be able to take care of the actual bartending services so that you can focus on the entertainment. They're licensed and certified bartenders, and they're going to take care of you and your guest, that you don't have to worry about taking the time to try to show off your bartending skills and not be able to entertain your people. So call them Oliver Ross. They'll make it so much easier for you.
I don't have any bartending skills. Do you, Faye?
No, I can crack open a beer, but not really with
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I can pop the top.
I can't. These nails, it hurts too much.
I can pour some. My hair, dude. I don't know. It's the headphones, man. It makes it like puff up. So
that's why I might have.
That's right. So yeah, just let Oliver Ross handle all that. Don't worry about it.
Seriously.
All right, so let's shift over early rankings. Here we go again. I know Joel Klatt, most everybody knows, big time college analyst, has Auburn at 22. 24/7 had Auburn at 21. There's also a couple others that have Auburn in the top 15. I think as high as 13 there. Why? What is this? I mean, you and I, look, we've gone through and we've predicted, and we're saying what, 8-4, 9-3. I mean, as much as we wanted to stay away from it, we've analyzed the schedule. We'll continue to analyze the schedule and look at it, but we've put all the things in from our analyst view, from spring practice to the schedule and the depth chart and the rosters, all combined to give us the result we've come up with. Is that why all of these guys are saying, okay, everybody watch out for Auburn? Because it surely ain't going all past results. Because the last 4 years have had losing records.
Oh my gosh.
Are these early rankings warranted?
If Hugh Freeze is going to put us back on the map, it is going to be this year. It has to be. I think with what we've seen at practice and everything, there's been a lot of positive results and a lot of differences. I think if whoever the quarterback is, and I know I keep saying this, but
do you feel this buzz? I don't want to cut you off, but are you feeling this buzz lately that the quarterback race has just been determined already? Are you feeling that? I am.
Yes and no. I think a little bit. Just, some of the places we've gone for our on locations and people that we've talked to and everything, I feel like a lot of people think that the race is over and that the battle between who it's going to be is determined. But I do think that Hugh is going to take it until the very, I don't want to say right until.
You really think he's going to do that?
I think so you think it's set on Jackson Arnold?
I think he's already made his mind up. I'm just going to be honest about it. And, the quote that came out,
yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing is my question. I mean, I watched Deuce Knight. You did too. I've heard you don't want to throw a freshman out there in the fire, but look, there's others that have done it And look, you go and you get Jackson Arnold out of the portal, but you also get one of the top high school quarterbacks in the country. Herein lies the issue again. Randy and I talked about this yesterday on the lunch show. Auburn was really a better quarterback away from maybe winning 9 games last year. Let's just be honest about it. The quarterback position was uncertain. Now, the roster is better this year than it was last year, top to bottom. But we are still sitting. You got somebody that's going to take a snap game 1 that has never taken a snap at Auburn in a game. Whoever it is. So
I really think that if I don't want to say it's over. I really don't.
Does it need to be over? I mean, look, the pros and cons of this is you go in knowing, okay, this is the guy. Everybody is good with that he's the guy. Did he prove that he's the guy, in what he was doing? And if he has, in everybody's eyes, in the team's eyes, in the coaching staff's eyes, yes. And I'm not naming a name. I'm just saying this guy, whoever that is, that they decide on. And you don't have this controversy dragging into fall camp and everybody's good with that. Maybe that's on that side, that's good. On the flip side, is it bad that you got these 2 highly ranked quarterbacks over here and coming out of spring, you've already pretty much determined who it is? And are you going to go into this thing objectively and see who really plays out, or you already made your mind up? So I mean, I hate to bring up old stuff, but it's just is what it is. I just feel like, we're talking about this because early rankings. It's amazing. Auburn, a lot of times people go, Auburn doesn't get any credit. Auburn doesn't get any love. Well, I can use other cases in the past where Auburn's gotten plenty of love. 2003 season going in, I think they were preseason number 1. And I think we lost the first 2 or 3 games of the season. I can't remember. I mean, and then you come back in 2004 and you run the table, and then you don't get any credit at the end of the season because, Oklahoma and USC were ahead of you the whole year. You were undefeated, but you were playing in the SEC. And it's like, well, all that was based off you falling on your face from the year before. I'm like, so I get all that kind of stuff. But in this case, Auburn's getting maybe some unwarranted love. Because if you're looking at,
which is shocking for Auburn, to be honest with you.
I mean, again, that kind of goes back to my point. I think we've had times in the past where Auburn's been given the benefit of the doubt, and a lot of times it's not. I think a lot of Auburn fans think that Auburn doesn't get a lot of love most of the time. But I'm bringing all this up. I think they're taking into effect that the roster, top to bottom, is a lot better. And if the quarterback can get solidified, whoever it is, then I think this Auburn team can challenge to be a playoff team. I think that's what you and I are banking on. That's why we've made the predictions we've made to this point.
Yeah, I think Hugh made a good point. Jackson better be good enough to be QB1. Deuce needs this year. Do you think we'll be seeing Deuce at all if QB?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think so too. Here's the thing. I just don't know if it's fully. And then Justin asked if he was guaranteed that he's the guy. None of that has been confirmed yet.
Well, I don't know that you would even be told that. I mean,
Yeah.
if they went out and got that suit, again, this is another. Hugh Freeze went out and sought him, and this was his guy. And we'd also heard that, there were some other guys in the portal, maybe that some of the other coaches and people in Hugh Freeze's ear liked maybe better than Jackson Arnold, but he wanted Jackson Arnold, and he went out and got Jackson Arnold. And so now here we are again with he's pushed all the chips in on the table with this guy. And I think Jackson Arnold's got all the talent in the world. And I think in a new system a rejuvenated start for him, getting out of the situation he was in Oklahoma. I think it could be really good for him. And we're hoping it is, because it will be really good for Auburn. And I agree with Hugh says that the optimal situation would be for Jackson Arnold to come in and be the guy, have a great year, move on, and let Deuce Knight come in and be the starting quarterback next year.
Yeah, I think so too. But again, maybe part of it's because we didn't see too much of him during the spring, like we thought.
Yeah,
we were gonna.
So we'll see. Again, I think it's pretty much determined. I just feel like that it's going to be. I don't think Hughes come out and pretty much said it, Jim. I mean, he's hinted around at it. He's with the quote and how much he's gained confidence and the things he saw that he liked. But I think going out and getting him out of the portal, and
we're yet to hear that
Jackson
Arnold is the starting. Right.
Yeah, he's an older guy, so they're banking on that, and in the way that looks, and as long as I think Deuce Knight is good with the way the things progress, but we talked about this, one of these guys ain't gonna be here next year, right? So that's just the way it is. That in lies, the recruitment of who you're going to get this year. Is it going to be Travis Burgess or Landon Duckworth or somebody else? You're thinking about all this all while keeping this here and now. You're worried about what's in front of you right now. You can't worry about what's going to happen 2 or 3 years down the road anymore. You have to worry about what's going on right now in the present.
Right.
So, all right. So, Warranted, maybe, but Auburn's getting some love because there is a lot of potential there, and not to beat a dead horse, the offensive line is the most experienced position on the whole team.
Right.
So, all right, John likes your hat. He gave you about, what is that, 5 thumbs up there?
Signed.
Yep, certified. Yeah, he said he stated in an interview with Mike G yesterday on War Report. I didn't watch that. So, bottom line is, again, so that just solidifies what I'm saying. I mean, he's pretty much saying this is the guy, and then the discussions, I hope, have been really good with Deuce on that, and as long as
Jackson Arnold is one play away from,
well, of course,
Deuce coming in. So
I just hope for his sake, for Hugh's sake, that the decision's the right one, because we saw all this play out last year with Peyton Thorne.
Yeah.
We didn't go get anybody in the portal last year, and because he was so certain that it was going to play out, and then so that's how it is. But anyway, all right, some other partners here on the program that we could not do the show without.
Old Number One Customs. Seriously, don't let your wife hate you. Don't DIY it for 2 years. Get it done in 2 weeks with Old Number One Customs. They're going to be able to transform your kitchen at a great price too. And stick with the professionals. I know we keep saying that, but seriously, stick with the professionals. If you need any help or anything like that, getting to the link, it's going to be in the description below. So call on them.
Absolutely. Old Number One Customs, 334-752-6162. Who can come in and renovate your kitchen or bathroom in 2 weeks? I mean,
not you.
You ain't doing it. So
no.
You're just going to screw stuff up and delay the process. Call Old Number One Customs. And
JFA Blue Plumbing, we talk about all the time how important it is to put your body's made up of 75% water. So the water that you're putting into your body, you want to make sure it's purified and filtered water. So the Home Atlas Water Filter Duo, the JFA Blue Plumbing can come in and install. That's going to be able to, make sure every single faucet coming from your house is purified water. And you can't put a price on your health. And I mean, it's
Yes, it's $15.99 installment.
Yeah, $15.99. So call on JFA Blue Plumbing at 844 JFA Blue.
And there you go. I mean, that's simple. Appreciate all of our partners out there for being a part of the Auburn Blitz. Make sure you go out and frequent them. The commonality between all of them are they are the experts in what they do.
Yep.
Okay. So take advantage of their expertise. Losing games from interceptions could change that. Start or quit. Let's hope that we don't go through that nightmare again. Like the worst thing that could happen is for Jackson Arnold to go out there and stink it up, and then all of a sudden this is the guy he's been banking on all year, and then he comes out and he screws up, and then we're playing interchanging quarterbacks again, and we know where that's going to go. I'm pulling for we're pulling for everybody, but
we're pulling for Auburn. That's what we're doing.
Make a decision, be confident in it, stick with that guy.
Jerron.
What's up, Jerron?
Hadn't heard from you in a while.
Jerron.
Where you go?
And of course, earlier, Jonathan gave us our War Eagle. Appreciate all of you out there. And again, we're on the road doing a lot of things this time of year on into the summer. A lot of exciting things as high school graduations are about to happen. Things going on. We're going to be, we missed you too, Jerron. I don't know where you've been, man. You've been hiding. Y'all keep spreading the word out there. Over 5,100 subscribers now. So we're just continuing to rock and roll up. So we appreciate all of the Auburn fans out there finding us. Spread the word. Continue to spread the word and help us. You can tune us in there on YouTube or Facebook. We're also going to get this on Spotify and Apple Music. So looking forward to that as well. Working on getting that done. I mean, it's hard to believe we've only been doing this, 4 or 5 months?
Mm-hmm.
Really since, good Lord. So really since January, we've been doing this, and Hoover Police Department had me busy. So back now. I bet it's so. Shout out to all you first responders out there for what you do. We really appreciate you here on the Auburn Blitz. I know the Sheriff's Department down in Auburn watches us. We were told that. So if you guys are watching, shout out to you guys today, or wherever you guys are out there working, or maybe watching this a little bit later. We appreciate it so much. So, all right, good stuff again, guys. We will be on with you again in the morning. We'll have Randy back with us. Been a minute since we had him, and we'll be here with another episode of the Auburn Blitz podcast. Remember, today at noon, Andy and JJ will be on. Tomorrow at noon, it'll be Andy and Jim. And then on Friday, it'll be me and somebody, because Faith will be in Oxford, Mississippi, in enemy territory.
I know. I wore it was just a sweatshirt I had thrown on, but it was an Ole Miss sweatshirt when I went to physical therapy yesterday. And all the guys there are big baseball guys, and they said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting in the spirit to celebrate my grad over there at Ole Miss." And they were like, "Oh." But they're still going to let him shadow, even though he's from Ole Miss.
There you go. They still have the love.
They still have the confidence in his education from there to go and shadow. So
right, exactly. Yeah. Well, again, thanks to everybody for watching and listening each and every day. Again, go out there and spread the word. Help us continue to grow, and we couldn't do it without all of you. Couldn't do it without all of our partners here on the program: Sense of Green, Bunkers, Scout Program Management, Sure Shot, Oliver Ross, Old Number One Customs, and JFA Blue Plumbing. Wonderful, wonderful businesses. And so make sure, if you frequent those businesses, tell them Auburn Blitz sent you, and we would be very appreciative of that.
If you want your business to be a part of it, my email's down below, but don't be weird. I already got a weird email, so don't email me if you're going to be weird. Okay.
So weird, man. Can people just be normal?
Yeah.
All right. This is not a dating service. All right. With that being said, we hope all of you have a wonderful and blessed day.
Have the best day ever.
And a big old
War Eagle.